This is a Female New Mexican's Political Point of View. Today we're interviewing Jeff Rein, an attorney here in the city, who is looking to be appointed to the ballot for the 2nd District Court judge position that is open because of Judge Baca's retirement. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here.
We have a standard set of questions we like to ask all our potential judges, and since you haven't actually sat on the bench yet, we're going to ask you a couple extra questions. Sure. First thing, tell us about your family and your community ties here in Albuquerque and New Mexico.
Went to grade school here, originally from Colorado Springs. We moved here when I was in the 6th grade. Went to grade school here, went to St. Pius High School, went to UNM, went to UNM Law School. My mom was a nurse. My dad sold restaurant supplies. I have 4 sisters, no brothers. Learned to listen well as a very young person.
A dominantly female family, eh?
Absolutely.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your professional career and what interested you as far as specialties in law.
I'm a criminal defense attorney, and that's all I've ever done. I'm not one of those kids who grew up knowing they were going to be a lawyer. Some friend and I had plans to travel the world, and the plans fell through, and he went to law school, and I thought, well, that'd be a good thing, and so I took the LLCT and got into law school as well. And once I was in law school, I didn't have any particular idea about what I wanted to do, but I do recall a real important class, I guess, for me, in which the professor set up a scenario where there was a person who was accused of raping someone, and asked the class, okay, who wants to defend this person, and we'll then set up positions, and nobody raised their hand. And I was amazed. I just couldn't understand it. This is law school. We're not, you're supposed to defend the Constitution, not take a personal side like that. So I said, I'll defend this person. And I think that just kind of set the tone for me. I was really fortunate. UNM has a terrific clinical program, and I was able to work with some public defenders while I was in law school helping them out with a murder trial and some other criminal defense things. And as soon as I got out of law school, the only place I applied was the public defenders, and thankfully they hired me. That's all I've ever done, really. I worked with the juvenile division, worked in the felony division, I worked in the capital crimes division. So I understand how felony crimes work. And that's what this position is about. It's not about misdemeanors or civil cases or things of that nature. This is only felony crimes, and really that's all I've done, other than a 6-month break where I was general counsel for Department of Health, which was a fascinating position as well. But it wasn't really well suited for me because I'm just more of a courtroom kind of a person. I like the work, I like working with the people, and I think that's what I do best.
What kind of community involvement do you have here in social activities, or maybe boards or something you sit on?
I have been on a number of boards with the New Mexico Criminal Defense Lawyers Association. Was on their board for about 8 years and was still a member. Several years ago I was on a board of an organization called Susan's Legacy, which was an effort to create a residential treatment center for women with dual diagnosis, just an incredibly challenging group of people to work with. Women who have some kind of substance abuse problem as well as a mental health issue. And there just are so few programs for people in the first place, but for this very narrow subgroup, almost nothing. You had a real hard group to work with, because if you're working with some kind of drug abuse or alcohol issues, and you have mental health issues, you've got all kinds of problems and issues and challenges. And so the idea was to have some central place for women only, with staff that can focus on women's issues. So a really important organization. Also worked a number of years ago with a group revising the Children's Code for juvenile delinquency offenses. Many years ago, I was a volunteer for hospice, working with terminally ill people. And actually my first volunteer experience was when I was just 21. Spent a summer in Guatemala doing relief work after an earthquake. The organization was set up with a variety of churches here in town. It wasn't particularly denominational of one sort or another, but all of us went down there and dug trenches, helped build houses, did some education, not religious, just clean water and things like that. And it was just fascinating. I had no idea what the United States was like from outside the borders, and really got my first taste of what it's like to work with people from really different experiences, really different backgrounds, and get a sense that basically we're all the same. We speak different languages, sometimes we have different issues right in front of us, but basically everybody wants the same thing. Live a productive life, make sure that the kids have something better than what you had. And the people